Can anyone explain what is paper electrophoresis and what is gel electrophoresis? What are the applications of electrophoresis? Akashna. Yeah, say no about paper and gel electrophoresis.
In paper electrophoresis, it is being horizontal and vertical.
Yeah.
And gel electrophoresis also, it is of two types.
Okay. What are the parts of apparatus and what type of samples can be separated by paper and gel electrophoresis?
Spot a uniform streak. Paper electrophoresis.
Okay.
Apparatus power pack electrophoretic cell that contain electrodes, buffers,
Okay.
transparent insulating cover.
What type of samples are separate?
Small charged molecules, amino acids,
Okay. What is the stationary phase and mobile phase used in paper and gel electrophoresis? Krishna, what is the stationary phase and mobile phase used in paper and gel electrophoresis?
stationary phase gel, silica gel.
No, it's wrong. What gel we have seen?
Ions,
What?
ions, mobile phase.
What?
Cellulose.
Cellulose. For
Man.
slides and listen to the class yesterday. What type of gel and gel electrophoresis we commonly use? Anybody else? Jackson?
Sodium,
Yeah. Who is that?
sodium
Michelle. What, ma?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Uh, yes. Sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. Okay. What type of paper we'll be using in paper chromatography? What are three types of papers can be used, right? So, what are the three kinds of stationary phase papers?
Watman filter paper, cellulose,
Okay. Okay. Or any other chromatographic paper also we could use for separation. Okay. Can anybody say about the applications of gel electrophoresis and paper electrophoresis? Clinical applications. Whether have you started writing assignment? Anybody on the applications? If so, you could able to say about the answer on pharmaceutical and clinical applications of electrophoresis techniques. Okay, anyway, you submit that in the assignment. Now let's move on to the second broad category of analytical methods, that is spectroscopic methods. Okay, so let's even if you want class notes during explanation, you can write it down. Okay, don't just depend only on the PPT. Whatever explanation I'm giving, just try to write in the class notebook as a class note, so it will be easy mainly for spectroscopic techniques. Okay, so now let's see about introduction and general principles on spectroscopy. Here, what does the term represents spectroscopy means? Now let's see what is spectroscopy. It is nothing but the study of interaction of electromagnetic radiation, that is EMR, with matter. So what you will call it as spectroscopy, will be studying the interaction of electromagnetic radiation. So whichever a technique we use electromagnetic radiation, when it is reacting with the sample, matter represents analyte. Here you can see what is a matter. It represents an analyte or a particle or a molecule or a substance or solute or a sample, whichever to be analyzed is considered as a matter here. And this matter will be interacting with electromagnetic radiation, and that interaction makes the sample to absorb the radiation or to emit the radiation or to diffract the radiation or reflect the radiation or scatter the radiation. It will be causing some changes with the interaction with the electromagnetic radiation. So that will be saying about characterization of a molecule. From that interaction, we can characterize the molecule, whatever we analyze. Okay, so this type of study is called as spectroscopy. So what is spectroscopy? The interaction of, it involves the interaction of electromagnetic radiation with matter, that is EMR with matter. What is matter? It is nothing but an analyte. It can be called as analyte or a particle or a molecule or a substance or a solute or a sample, whatever you call. The same
Excuse me.
particle or analyte. What, ma?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes.
Ma'am, Siranjeevi allow panna.
Hmm. Ask him to join.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? Now 14 members only are there. Anybody will join? Number 16. Who is number 16?
Ma'am, Stephen Deep and absent, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Only then 15. Yesterday also 15 only attended. Okay. If anybody comes, you just tell me. Okay. So mainly the spectroscopic techniques are applicable for characterization of the molecule. How we can characterize means, since the radiation, here you can say see the wave like appearance. This is radiation in form of photons. H nu represents photons that is interacting with the molecule. When it is passed, you can see the waves inside the molecule. So it acts as it is the particle where it is absorbed inside. The wave is absorbed inside the molecule, and it will say about the characterization whether the molecule is absorbing, or if it is absorbed, then what type of chemical structure it will be having, and due to which molecule or which group, which basic nucleus, or what bond is causing that absorption or emission. Everything we can characterize for a molecule by means of spectroscopic analysis. Okay, so that's why we are going to study about spectroscopic methods in order to characterize a drug molecule. Okay, drug substance or drug molecule. If you need to characterize either known compound or unknown compound, then we need to study with the spectroscopic techniques. So in spectroscopic techniques, what major source we are using? Electromagnetic radiation. We'll be seeing what is electromagnetic radiation. Okay, now we have seen the interaction between electromagnetic radiation and matter is called as spectroscopy. Okay. What is the use of chromatography? That is applicable for separation. Those are separation techniques where the mixture of sample is getting separated into individual molecules. Just only separating from the mixture, or isolating, separating, isolating, or purifying the sample from a mixture is called chromatographic technique. Where in spectroscopy, those separated molecules can be characterized by these techniques. So both the techniques are very important in order to purify the sample or isolate or separate the sample, and then to characterize the sample. Okay, For that case only half of the part we have discussed. Only separation we have discussed till now. Now let's move on to the characterization of a molecule by means of different spectroscopic methods. Okay, what are the important parts for separation in chromatography? Stationary phase and mobile phase. Likewise, what is the important part in spectroscopy? Electromagnetic radiation. What is the important part in spectroscopy? Electromagnetic radiation. Radiation means it's not just a radiation, it is of electromagnetic radiation. It may be called as EMR. Okay, so this is what spectroscopy and its overall application. Now let's see what is an EMR. What is EMR? Electromagnetic radiation. Why it is called as EMR? The radiation which has both electric property and magnetic property. Okay, it has both electric and magnetic property. Where this electric property, you can see the wave is oscillating towards electrical field oscillation. Another wave is magnetic field oscillation, and both the waves are perpendicular to each other when the way of propagation. Okay, that is the nature of electromagnetic radiation. Any electromagnetic radiation if you take, it will be having two properties, two waves. Okay, one wave, one kind of wave is called electrical wave, another kind of wave is called magnetic wave, and it will be oscillating in the magnetic field and this will be oscillating in the electric field. So electromagnetic radiation will be having two properties, electric property and magnetic property, when it is passed in the vacuum or in the way of propagation. Okay, what actually how what interaction here represents. Now you have learned what is matter and what is EMR. What actual interaction takes place, how this electromagnetic radiation will interact with the particle. That is represented here. Electric property of an EMR. What is electric property? This is electric wave of an EMR will interact with the electric property of a matter. So matter also will be having electric property. In particle, what you will be calling as electric property in a particle? Particle will be carrying electrons, right? Molecule is means composed of atoms. Atoms composed of what? Nucleus, and the nucleus will be having protons, around it electrons, right? So this is what the composition of a molecule. So molecule is having definitely protons and electrons, neutrons, this all. So these electrons are responsible for creating this electric field, and that electric property, electric field of a matter will interact with the electric field of the EMR, electric property of an EMR. So this is how the interaction takes place between EMR and a matter. Okay, likewise magnetic property, magnetic wave of an EMR will interact with magnetic property of a matter. Okay, so this is how electromagnetic radiation will interact with the matter. Matter represents what? Analyte, or particle, or solute, or sample, whatever you call the sample molecule. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. We'll see we'll see the theories or properties of an electromagnetic wave. Theories or properties of an electromagnetic wave. So this wave is having or following different theories. Electromagnetic radiation, that we'll see. It has two properties or theories. One is wave theory, another one is particle or corpuscular theory. Okay, what are the theories of electromagnetic waves? Wave theory and particle theory. Particle corpuscular theory. So this wave, photons will act as, it follows wave theory and it also follows particle theory. Now let's see what is wave theory. It states about characterization of a wave in a vacuum. Characterization of a wave. When it is passed in a vacuum, how we can characterize the waves? What are the parameters we'll be using to characterize the waves? Those are called as wave theories. Okay, so wave theory meant to characterize the wave when it is passed in a vacuum. What are the then characteristic parameters? You can see here from the picture itself, you can see some readings mentioned here. So that is called as wavelength, and some readings here mention frequency. So we can measure the radiation either with wavelength or with frequency in the way of propagation in the vacuum. So this type of theory is called wave theory. Now let's see what are the parameters will come under wave theory. So we'll see later. Before that, we'll see what are particle and corpuscular theory. This particle or corpuscular theory is otherwise known as quantum theory also. Okay, it states about energy of wave in the form of quanta or photons. Why it is called a quantum theory? The photons are called as quanta, so that it is called quantum theory, and the particles will take the wave as photon only. Okay, so it is representing particle theory. When it is interacting with the particle, so it is like photons. You can see the light stream as a photons. Each photon is considered as h nu. Frequency energy is equal to h into nu. H represents Planck's constant. You can observe the reading constant value for Planck's constant, that is 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joules second, and nu represents frequency. Okay, nu is frequency. So energy is directly proportional to frequency, and the equilibrium constant is h, that is Planck's constant. Okay. So now you can see what are the two properties wave exist. One is wave property, another one is particle property. Particle property is represented, particle theory is represented with corpuscular or quantum theory, since it is represented with quanta or photon. Okay, energy of a wave in the form of quanta or photon. Okay, energy is equal to photon or a quantum, one photon or one quantum. So number of quantum or photons are increased, then energy of wave also will be increased. That is the concept behind quantum theory. Okay, when frequency increases, energy will be increased. So total photon, when number of photons are increased, energy of radiation, electromagnetic radiation passed to the sample will be increased. So that is explained with quantum theory. Quantum theory is otherwise known as corpuscular theory or particle theory. Now let's move on to the properties of a wave according to wave theory. Wave theory is what? It states about characterization of a wave in a vacuum. Characterization means it will be characterized or quantified by means of different parameters like wavelength, frequency, energy. This all we will be utilizing to characterize the wave. So now we'll see what are the parameters to characterize the wave. There are four parameters. First one is wavelength, then wave number, then frequency, then velocity. All are listening, no?
Yes, ma'am.
This is basic concept behind spectroscopy. Kindly listen. If you understand it, it will be very easy only. But you listen to the class, it will be easy, so that we can move with different from spectroscopic techniques easily. Okay, and understand the concept behind each technique very easily. Okay, that's why I'm teaching basic now. Okay. So what are the properties of a wave according to wave theory? There are four properties: wavelength, wave number, frequency, velocity. So before moving on to this, we should know what is a wave. Okay, these are properties. To characterize the wave means we can quantify the wave. How many waves are passed into the sample? Since we have to know, in case of quantification, here you can see the interaction of wave occurs with a particle. We should know how many number of waves or how much wave amount of wave is passed to the sample, so that how much amount of sample is got absorbed. If we know the quantification of this wave only, characterize the wave only, we can quantify the amount of particles, since this will be directly proportional to the particle characteristic. Okay, so we can calculate the concentration. Absorbance or emission or whatever will be directly proportional to the concentration of particle. So how we can calculate the concentration through the amount of radiation absorbed or amount of radiation emitted. So in order to quantify this wave, we need to follow wave theories. So what are the wave theories? Properties as per wave theory, wavelength. Either we can characterize the wave by using wavelength or wave number or frequency or velocity. These are all the 4 parameters widely used to characterize the wave. So before that, what is a wave? A complete wave, a single complete wave will be having a peak and a trough. A peak and a trough. Who wants to join? So it will be having a peak and a trough. It is the peak, crest, trough. Okay, so this will be having a complete peak and a trough is called one wave. So this will be called as a single wave. Single wave will be having one peak and one trough. Okay, so this is called a complete wave or whole wave. So when the radiation is passed in a vacuum, how you will calculate number of waves? Each wave will be having one peak and one trough. That is called wave. Next, we'll move on to wavelength. What is wavelength? The parameters. The first parameter is wavelength. And it is to quantify a wave. Here, wave theory is to quantify a wave. That's what I said with the previous picture. Then, what is wavelength? Wavelength can be denoted with lambda. Okay, it is the denotation of wavelength, lambda. And what is wavelength? Length represents distance, wave distance. So what distance we are measuring or calculating as wavelength means the distance between successive peaks, successive crests and troughs. Between troughs or between crests or peaks, if we calculate the distance, then this distance is called as lambda. What is lambda? Lambda represents wavelength. So this is the length of wave. Okay, this is the length. Either you can calculate the distance between trough or distance between crest. This will be equal only for the radiation which passes in a vacuum, and this will be taken as wavelength. So this is the this is one part of characterization of a wave, quantification of a wave. Okay, and what is the unit of distance? The unit of measurement of wavelength is neither nanometers. In nanometers, nm, you should have seen 250 nanometer, 350 nanometer. Likewise, you should have seen even when you are performing practicals, you will be doing this nanometers in UV visible spectroscopy. So where we will be using the unit as nanometers, it is mentioned with nm. Okay, then centimeters, we can calculate this wavelength with centimeters and angstrom also. Okay, so these are all the common units used for wavelength, length unit, distance unit only. Okay, either nanometers, centimeters or angstrom. With these units, we can measure the wavelengths. So what is wavelength? The distance between, length represents distance between two peaks or two troughs. That is successive peaks and successive troughs. Okay, so that is called wavelength. So where we will use this, which type of radiation is characterized with wavelength? The theory of wavelength means UV visible and X-rays. Okay, what are the two techniques? UV visible rays and ultraviolet and visible radiation, and X-rays are measured by using theory as wavelength theory. Okay, and UV visible radiation is measured with like 200 to 800 nanometer is UV visible range. So nanometer, it is mentioned with 200 to 400 nanometers. Nanometers represents wavelength, lambda. X-rays will be said in angstrom, 1 to 10 angstrom. So angstrom is also wavelength unit. So X-rays and UV visible radiations are measured with wavelengths. Okay, so you don't get confused when you are coming or studying about UV visible spectroscopy. The radiation of UV visible is measured with what unit? Wavelength. So what is wavelength? What is a complete wave? It will be having a crest and a trough. So between two successive peaks and troughs are taken as wavelength. Now let's move on to the next parameter, wave number. Wave number. Listening, right? Okay. 17 are present. Then who is absent?
Deepan.
Deepan alone absent. Stephanie also joined us. Stephanie not there.
Deepan and Stephen.
Okay. So now let's see about wave number. The second parameter under wave theory, wave number. So name itself indicates number of waves. It indicates numbers. How many numbers? Counting number of waves. It can be represented with nu bar. Nu. Nu bar. It is the symbol with nu bar. It is representing wave number. The number of waves per centimeter. In 1 centimeter, how many whole waves are passed? That is called as wave number. Okay. Here you can see in 2 centimeter, how many whole waves are passed are called, or how many cycles of waves are passed in a given distance is known as wave number. So wave number is calculated based on distance in centimeters. So the unit will be centimeter inverse. Okay, well, why it is given in centimeter inverse means when the distance is increased, means number of waves will be decreased with increasing waves. Means when you increase the number of waves with a given distance, it will be, the energy also will be high. That's what mentioned here. So wave number is nothing but number of waves per centimeter, and it is represented with nu bar. The unit is centimeter inverse, since it is calculated based on the distance. So how many whole waves are passed with a given distance? If more waves are passed with a less distance, the energy will be more for the radiation. If only less waves, in 2 centimeter only 2 waves only are passed, then it has a low energy likewise. Okay, so where we will use this unit, which type of radiation is measured with wave number means infrared radiation. IR radiation is measured or characterized with a wave number. Okay, where we will use only IR, we will be using wave number. So IR radiation is measured with centimeter inverse. Since it is given with inverse readings, infrared radiations will be ranging from higher value to lower value, where UV visible and all will be calling with lower to higher, 200 to 400 nanometer, 1 to 10 angstrom, like that. From lower to higher value we are representing, where for infrared radiation will be representing from higher to lower value, like 4000 centimeter inverse to 667 centimeter inverse. From higher to lower value it will be mentioned, since unit is centimeter inverse. Okay, this is about wave number. So now we have seen wavelength and wave number, and what is whole wave also. Now the third parameter is frequency. Frequency is said with nu. Already in particle theory also we have seen frequency. The same only we are going to see as a particle characteristic, wave characteristic here. Frequency, it is represented with nu. This represents nu. Nu bar is wave number. Nu is frequency. So what is frequency? The number of waves in a vacuum, passed in a vacuum through a single point per second. Per second. It is based on time. See, frequency based on time. Number of waves. How you will calculate number of waves? One wave will be having one peak and trough. So how many number of waves, how many number of whole waves are passed in a vacuum through a single point per second with a given time? In 1 second, how many waves are passed? If 1 second more waves are passed, see here, 3 types of signals are shown here. One is low frequency, since only 2 waves are passed in a given point in 1 second, consider. This is having medium frequency, since for nearly 3 waves, complete waves are passed. It is having medium frequency. wherein high frequency with a given point, nearly 6 complete waves have been passed. So this has high frequency. So when frequency is increased, energy also will be increased. Okay. When low frequency is there, amount of radiation is less. Medium frequency, amount will be medium. Energy also will be medium. Where with high frequency with a given point in a given second, if more number of waves are passed, then that is called, it is with high energy. Since frequency is directly proportional to energy equal to h nu, right? So this says this type of radiation is having this amplitude of radiation represents high energy with a high frequency. Okay. So this is what representing frequency, and unit of frequency you will be knowing already. You should have heard about frequency units, hertz or megahertz or cycles per second. It can be represented with the hertz or cycles per second. So the cycles per second, if you understand itself, you can define the frequency. Frequency unit instead of hertz you take as cycles per second. The cycles represents one full cycle. Full cycle represents one complete wave, passing one complete wave, that is having peak and a trough. Here you can see 4 cycles is mentioned. Now 4 cycles means 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 complete cycles of waves have been passed. That is only represented here. Cycles. How many cycles? If it is increased, nearly here 6 cycles of waves has been passed. So cycles per second. In 1 second, how many cycles of waves are passed are called as frequency. So cycles per second is the unit for frequency. Otherwise, it is called as hertz. And it is denoted with nu. Frequency can be denoted with nu. Okay. So this is what another characteristic called frequency, where which radiation is characterized by means of where frequency means IR, radio waves, and microwaves. Okay, these 3 radiations are measured with hertz or cycles per second, that is in frequency units. IR radiation can be measured with centimeter inverse and also with frequency. Why it is measured with frequency means it will be directly equal to vibrational frequency of the molecule. So it is also mentioned with frequency units. Apart from centimeter inverse, the units are mentioned with frequency also. Then radio waves and microwaves. Radio waves will be used in NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy. So where it will be measured with megahertz, and microwaves also measured with megahertz or megacycles per second. So this is about frequency. So frequency is directly proportional to energy. Since number of cycles are increased per second, and it is time measurement based on time, where a wave number is based on distance. It is distance measurement, so the unit will be centimeter inverse. This is time measurement, so the unit will be cycles per second. Okay. Now let's move on to the 4th parameter, that is velocity. Velocity is represented with C. Velocity, you know, it is the speed of light. How much speed it is passed in a vacuum in the given, it is composed of both the distance and second. Speed of light in the given distance per second. So the unit will be composed of both distance and time. Okay, so centimeter per second or meter per second. So velocity will be composed with distance and time. So the speed of light in the given distance per second is called velocity. So unit will be composed of distance unit and time unit. So centimeter per second, meter per second, likewise. And this energy of electromagnetic radiation, and this velocity will be composed of frequency and wavelength. It is the product of frequency and wavelength. Okay, since it is representing distance and time. So meter per second, so only it is getting unit as meter per second. So wave speed, that is meter per second, is equal to frequency and wavelength. So velocity is the product of frequency and wavelength. F or nu, you can mention nu also here. Here F represents frequency. Even you can denote with the symbol. Here it is denoted with wavelength. Likewise, here also you can denote it with nu. So wave speed V equal to nu into lambda. It is product of frequency and wavelength. This is what called as velocity. Now let's see the relationship between this wave characteristics, so that you can understand the relationship between the energy of different radiations also. Energy only we need to calculate, since the energy represents the amount of radiation which is passed to the sample. So in order to calculate the energy, we should know how the different wave characteristics are related. Okay. Now let's see the relationship between wavelength, wave number and frequency. Wavelength, wave number and frequency. First three parameters. Wavelength, lambda, wave number, number of waves, frequency, cycles per second. This is centimeter inverse. This is centimeter. You can think it as centimeter. This is centimeter inverse. This is nu, cycles per second, nu or hertz. Okay, here you can see long period, low frequency, long wavelength, low wave number. This represents here according to frequency units, it is low frequency, since cycles per second are very less. Okay, so that represents low wave number also. Number of waves also less, right? But wavelength, see the wavelength, length between two peaks are high. So wavelength is long when comparing to frequency and wave number. These are low. So wavelength is indirectly proportional to frequency and wave number. When frequency and wave number are decreased, wavelength will be increased. Since here number of waves are decreased when comparing with other amplitudes of radiation, the first radiation wave frequency and wave number is decreased, where this radiation wavelength is increased. So this two parameters are indirectly proportional. So wave number and frequency are indirectly proportional to wavelength, where wave number and frequency are directly proportional. Since wave number is low, frequency also low. So wave number and frequency are directly proportional, where wavelength is indirectly proportional to other parameters. Where here you can see high frequency with the given distance, high frequency, many cycles of radiation you can find, many cycles of waves you can find with many wave numbers also. So now frequency and wave number is same. It is increased, where wavelength, distance between waves in the given time or a given distance is very less. See here it is very less comparing the first wave. So here it is indirectly proportional. Wavelength is indirectly proportional to wave number and frequency. Understood now this relationship? So wavelength is opposite to wave number and frequency, where wave number and frequency are same, directly proportional. They are directly proportional. Now let's see the second relationship. What is the relationship between wavelength, frequency and energy? Wavelength, frequency and energy. And so frequency will be already equal to h nu. So E is directly proportional to frequency. Energy is directly proportional to frequency, as we have seen in the previous slide under corpuscular theory. E equal to h nu. Energy is directly proportional to frequency. So that is directly proportional. Then what happens with wave length? What happens with wavelength? Indirectly proportional. So wavelength is indirectly proportional to frequency and energy. Frequency and energy. Since high frequency shows high energy, where wavelength is less here. Here wavelength is increased, it shows low frequency and low energy of radiation. So energy, frequency and wave number, these three parameters are directly proportional, where wavelength is totally indirectly proportional to other parameters. Clear? So wavelength is indirectly proportional to wave number, frequency and energy, where energy, frequency and wave numbers are directly proportional. Understood now? If you have not understood, also observe this picture, it will be easily understood. Okay. See, the wave number is very less here, since number of waves and cycles of waves are increased. So this represents high energy and high frequency. Coming to the end of the wave, wavelength is increased and it is decreased with the frequency, decreased with the number of waves, and decreased with the energy. Okay. So now let's see about what are the types of spectroscopy as per syllabus. Based on this concepts you are going to study is. Before moving on to this, let's revise once again what we have discussed till now as the introduction part of spectroscopy. So we have seen what is spectroscopy, what is a matter, what is an EMR, what are the properties, how the EMR is interacting with the matter, electric property interacts with the electric property, magnetic property interacts with magnetic property of the analyte. Then what are the two theories of EMR, wave theory and particle theory, corpuscular theory and wave theory. What is wave theory? It is characterization of a wave. And what is particle theory? It is a quantum theory. It is composed of quantas or photons. You can observe wave form and photon form, particle form of light, electromagnetic radiation. Then we have seen the characteristics of wave according to wave theory. What are the four characteristics? And that what is the wave and what is wavelength, which type of spectroscopic analysis we will be using that, and what type of radiation was characterized with wavelength. Then what is wave number and what radiation is measured with wave number. What is frequency and what are the radiations are characterized with frequency. And what is velocity, what are the components it has. Then what is the relationship between wavelength with other parameters, wave number, frequency and energy. Now let's see about what are the types of spectroscopy as per syllabus we are going to learn. We can divide the spectroscopy into electronic and structural elucidation spectroscopy. Let us discuss this part in the next class. This part will be discussed in the next class. Okay, or you are ready?
Next class.
Okay, pa. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We'll discuss in the next class. Many spectroscopy techniques we'll discuss. Is there any doubt in the basic part of spectroscopy? It's easy only. Easily you can understand. Hope you have studied also earlier some concepts. Even you can read from ebooks what it is uploaded for the concepts, basic concepts of spectroscopy. Okay. Thank you all. Be safe. Okay. Stay healthy. Only healthy foods. Okay. Do exercises regularly. Since you are at home, you can perform some exercises also. Be fit, be healthy. Okay, pa. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.